Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the final word. Everton 1, Huddersfield Town 1. An absolutely rip-roaring, minute-to-minute, end-to-end clash. This game wasn't. It was. We are joined by Cameron from the Mighty Blues. Joe, and Joe does designs. Actually turned up today, which is a big thing. I mean, Ped, look, talking. People say he had a fight. Look at us, smell like fucking toast.
Get off me.
Sorry, mate. You haven't forgiven me now.
You knew what you did.
I did. Ped, let's get straight into it. It was the team Saturday. Obviously, we're looking forward. We just had a result at Bournemouth, which was one of those. Having been ahead, beat Rotherham, come into Saturday's game. What did you make of the team? Was it as you'd expected, or?
Yeah, well, it picks itself at the moment, doesn't it? Let's be honest. I mean, that's where we are. 3 games into the season or whatever. 4 games into the season, it picks itself. Obviously, Dean starting to. He came in, which was a bit slight surprise. But then when you seen the way we were playing with Calvert-Lewin slightly tucked in on the left rather than being right out there, it seemed to make sense. So from that point of view, there's not really anything I would have done differently. Lookman wouldn't have started for me. So it was as you were, and it was a frustrating game, but you get them every year at Goodison, and you get them at this time of year as well. It doesn't always go smoothly, so I'm not getting too hung up on this game, I must admit.
Joe, were you surprised with the team, or did you think it would be what
No,
it was,
I think that's the team that was always going to start, to be honest. I personally would have had Digne ahead of him, ahead of Baines. Natural left foot, I think, and his crossing ability was incredible all game if you think about it. But yeah, that's the team I expected, to be honest.
You can.
Yeah, I predicted it pretty much like that, other than with Baines instead of Digne. Obviously, was happy with Digne coming in, no qualms. I think the substitution was a little bit strange. I think if Digne obviously playing the 90 against Rotherham and having a good game, if he's not fit enough to play the 90 against Huddersfield, would I have started Baines and brought him on, or like you said in the pre-match lineup, played him ahead of Baines instead? Yeah. But like I said, I had no issues with playing him. He was quality against Rotherham, and again quality in this game as well. I just think it might be a fitness issue. I don't know at the minute why he couldn't complete the 90. But
no, I thought it. Well, come on to the sub, but it was a strange sub for me as well. I thought we started off okay. I thought we had control of the game very early on. I thought the tempo was okay. But again, we had not. Their game plan was to push us inside into the packed areas. We just didn't spread the pitch.
No, you can see straight away they had 11 men behind the ball straight away, and it was always going to be hard to break them down. Not having that width on the left hand side was an issue. You can't really blame that on Calvert-Lewin. He's been picked to do a job. There's not anyone else, is there, for all the options we've bought? Lookman, not enough games of football to be fit. And also, I don't think he suits hugging the touchline like Richarlison does. He doesn't really suit that. You've seen that when he came on later on. But no, I don't think we. I don't know. It's hard to say. Some teams will go straight into teams like that when they're on to just test them straight away. We were a little bit slower out the blocks. But again, it's. I don't know. There was just all game. There was a lack of creativity all over the pitch. I don't know. I don't know whether Walcott was carrying an injury from the start. He just never looked up for it all game. They couldn't really find him in space. Seamus Coleman wasn't getting up alongside Amada to create that space, and I just think that lack of spark in the midfield, in the central area midfield, really caused us problems all game, because that's where we needed to generate just that little something special, and we just couldn't do it first half. And I think once they sort of sniffed that out and realised that gave them confidence, and we've seen that before. We've seen that last season, and I think they just realised that we were going to always find it difficult to break them down, so they started being a little bit more progressive and a little bit more optimistic about the chances.
What did you make of Kurt Zouma coming in, obviously?
I thought he's brilliant. I think he's a Route 1 centre half. He has it out. I've never seen a man jump as high, to be honest, especially in their area. He flies in the air. I think he's a good centre half, and I like the way he's come out now and he said, look, I'm not going to talk about a permanent move. He's set to start. He's here to play footy and he's here to do his job. He's not here to blag anyone. He's not here to say, oh, I might be here the next season. He's just saying, look, I'm here now use me now, if I'm here next year, whatever. I think he had a good game. I think he had a good game against Rotherham as well. And I think when Mina comes in and can play alongside him, I like Mason Holgate, but I just don't think he's experienced enough. I don't think he's ready yet to be playing every single week in the Premier League. I think obviously we'll see what Mina's like, but I really rate Zouma. I think Zouma was a player that I wanted at Everton for a few years, to be honest, a couple of years. And like I say, the ball gets to him and he has it out, and he's route one, he's big brute, and that's what you want as a centre half, don't you? You don't want like someone that can be pushed off the ball easily, or someone that's gonna let the ball roll along his feet and then make a challenge that wasn't a red card.
That's true, yeah. So will differ. What about him dropping shoulders and hitting shots from 30 yards?
Brilliant, yeah, that's what you want to see, innit? I thought he was going in, to be honest. I thought he was going in. Yeah. I think he had a decent game, Kurt Zouma. I mean, he's everything that we needed. He can link up well with Yerry Mina, if I'm being honest. Obviously coming in as a loan deal, it's going to be a good transfer for us, but on a permanent transfer, I don't think it's probably optional at the moment. As Cameron said, I think he doesn't want a permanent deal as of yet, so we'll have to just wait and see. But yeah, a good performance, good Premier League debut in my opinion.
It doesn't really matter, does it, whether he's permanent or not? Football is such a... it's changed so much in the last few years that it doesn't really matter anymore who plays for you, who signed for you. We're seeing players from top European clubs going to other European clubs on 2-year deals and all these kind of... It doesn't really matter. I mean, in Europe, we've seen them playing against the others in Champions League games and all this. It doesn't... I couldn't care less.
What did you make of his performance?
I thought he was good. I thought we needed that strength in defence, because I thought personally, Holgate was bullied all game. Other people have said different. I thought he was amazing. I didn't think he was amazing at all. The lad moved over to him and just sat on him all day and just bullied him. And I'm not saying that's not his fault. He's not as physically as big as the other two lads, and you can see that. But he stuck in there, and he at least he give him a fight. He won them. But Zouma looks like everything we need, and it'll be interesting to see. What we do need is two who'll play next to each other all season. That's what we need. You would imagine it'll be Mina. You're hoping, but we haven't seen anything of him yet, so you don't know. Obviously, Michael Keane started the season pretty well, but it's who gels together, and it's who. Listen, the problem we've got, we can see what the problem we've got is. It's at the moment it's zonal marking. For me, the problem with zonal marking is in games like this. I think as a fan, and I think this is the players as well, you're terrified if they get a corner. Yeah. You're terrified if they get a long throw.
See, I wasn't. I think other people. Honestly, I wasn't, because I said this before off camera. We defended 10, 12 long throw-ins. We defended 4 corners. I'm just saying this again, I've watched the goal 17 times, it was counted before, to see what happened before it come out. And it's the same thing that happened against Southampton. It's a misdirected header. Yeah. But nobody reacts. No one reacts.
But don't you think
that's a problem?
Don't you think that a team like Huddersfield, who comes to Goodison, who's got no right to win the game, has always got a sniff a chance. Has always got a chance of winning the game, because they've got an option to just throw it in the box. And I think if that problem didn't exist, I honestly believe we would have thrown more at them. We would have gone, but because at the end of the day, all they have to do is put one long ball upfield. One of our centre backs misheads it or something, and it goes out for a corner. Next minute, bang, bing, and it's a goal. You've got to be wary of that, and I think that's something we've got to get fixed, because that will stop us playing our true game if we're always worrying about that one little problem. But because if teams have got no other way of breaking you down,
I know, and they were limited, and that's without having a go at them. They done what they needed.
They banned on Everton mistake, didn't they? They needed us to make a mistake for them to score, because they are poor, quality wise. They are poor. They're probably one of the worst teams I've seen at Goodison in a while. So they needed us to make a mistake for them to capitalise, and they're the games that you need to get the second, and once you get the second, you're flying, and you're getting third, fourth, fifth. But you need to, like you said before, you need a player of quality that can break that down and create that chance, and once the second goal goes in, then you're getting more then. But it was that we lacked. It was the pushing after. We equalised. Sorry, we equalised literally a minute after they scored, and it was bish, bash, bosh, easy.
We were missing Bernard massively, weren't we?
I don't know if we're missing him, because it's not.
It's a player that you need to unlock
It's a player
the
you need,
defence.
but I can't say we're missing him because I've not seen him.
Yeah,
we missed Richarlison.
a moment of
It's not
magic was
Arteta.
needed there.
We missed
you know what I mean?
Richarlison because Richarlison's ability to go outside and inside.
Yeah.
was
Drop
what-
central
what
as well,
we
doesn't he?
needed.
Yeah.
But he's powerful and he's pacey.
Yeah.
And he causes the
Yeah.
problems. And when you've got him and Walcott
Yeah.
on both sides, teams are concerned. Where at the weekend,
Calvert-Lewin didn't really offer us nothing, did he?
No. He didn't. He
Didn't
took
wanna
a
go
goal
beyond.
brilliantly well. Listen, the thing we get off Calvert-Lewin is he runs constantly. You'd never
Works
worry
hard,
about
yeah.
him
Yeah.
not putting the shift
No,
in
no,
because
never.
he does.
No.
But I just think for me it was a waste of a player putting him
Yeah.
out there because he doesn't do what you need him to do
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
better centrally, and he showed that with the goal. He got himself across the defender, scored a good header.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But when he's asked to play in that position, that's why I would have started Dean ahead of
Yeah.
Baines, because you've got natural
Yeah.
left
Yeah,
footer,
yeah.
Yeah.
and Tosin is doing all his work everywhere else but where we need him to be.
Tosin's doing everyone's work.
You
and he
need him
accepts
in
his
the
own,
middle.
yeah.
You need, and what the other thing was as well, I don't know whether you thought this the first half, Sigurdsson's just bogged down with people. The amount of times he got caught.
I'd have played Sigurdsson on the left.
Oh, Sigurdsson.
I'd have played Sigurdsson on the left.
I'd have gone 4-4-2
and Dominic
like he did
Calvert-Lewin
the other
off
Tosin,
Tosin.
yeah.
And because
Certainly
I
for the second half.
I think Dean and Sigurdsson would have worked really well
Yeah.
together because
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
an intelligence there.
Yeah.
He just
And Dean's got the pace.
Dean
hasn't
just
he?
moves past people like they're not there.
Yeah.
And it's not even a pace thing. It's just
It's clever.
It's a
Mick
clever.
Bartlett.
He's clever, and also he's like dead. His manner,
body
his
shape,
body
isn't he?
shape's dead relaxed. He just fluently moves past people without really any
The
issue.
amount of times when we spread the ball to him, and the control wasn't. You could tell he didn't even think about it. It come and he just.
Yeah.
But I think
dropped off,
Sigurdsson
yeah.
could have played that.
He
Could have played that
Like a
role
Pina, yeah.
and moved in almost like Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But having Dom in the middle rather than where he was would have helped us massively.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
I think
He
you're
would have
right.
helped so.
We got bogged down in the middle of the park because actually having three in there meant they were concentrating more of their plays in the
Yeah,
middle of the
yeah,
park.
yeah.
Whereas if we'd spread them out a little bit, that would have forced them, and that would have created the gaps. Then you'd like to think. I mean, you'd like to think that.
Let's talk about the goal first. Obviously, they got the goal. It was a poor bit of defending by us. Really, they had a couple of long throw-ins which we didn't really deal with very well. They get a corner. It's a cross comes in. I think it's Dean
blocks it out.
or blocks the. It goes across and he blocks the thing.
Yeah.
So off that corner, when you look, we're set really well. But then, if you stop it,
No, I know.
we're set up really well, right? The one thing I noticed is
Four of them
men
get attracted to the
run
ball.
to the
I know,
ball.
they do it every
Four
game.
of them.
Yeah.
They do it every
You've
game.
got but Tosin doesn't do anything. He just jumps like that. Calvert-Lewin goes to the ball, but I think it's his job to attack the ball. So he's done his job right.
Yeah.
Zuma went to the ball, and Mason Holgate follows a player.
Couple of them were man marking. Snarden was man marking.
Tom Davies had two men, one
Yeah.
either side of him, and he stays with one. But the other one is Billing, who's on his
Yeah,
own.
yeah.
Now the ball, he just redirects the ball. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't really even move.
Yeah.
It hits the back of someone's head, comes and he just redirects it.
Yeah.
Past Pickford. I mean, that Zakara looked offside to me because he was in front of Pickford.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
So be it. Goes in. But what we're saying about the zonal, and you're right. And at the moment, like I said, we were talking before, and I was saying, if this was year 2, I'd be looking now going, why are we still not able to mark off zonal marking? It's very early days, and the manager's even said it himself that we need to work on it. But anyway, if you're playing any level of football, if your manager goes, we'll zonal mark today, or we'll man-to-man mark on a Sunday, whatever, if you're doing that and someone's by you, still make sure you put it, even if it's not your man, you look in someone's ear, just mark them.
Exactly.
We're not doing that. No. We're going ball. And whether they're all concentrating on my zone, this is the line I need to be in. If someone runs behind you, you've got to go with it.
Yeah,
if anyone runs to that billing, that isn't even a chance.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is a little bit. I think it's a bit of, I don't want to go against what we're being told to do, the zonal marking thing, and I think that's when players need to step up and go, listen, for this throw-in, jag that off, you mark him, because he's on his own, go to him, and there's no threat. I think it's a little bit of, I don't want to say naivety, but players not wanting to get out the zone and to say, well, this is where I'm told to be, so I'm going to stay here.
Then mark someone who's by you.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Even if you're in that zone, mark someone.
Even if for the one throw-in, the one set piece, you say, leave this now, I'm going for him. I'm getting this ball out, then there's no complaints. The manager can't complain if a ball's been cleared rather than gone in, no matter how you've cleared it.
What was the feeling around you? Was everyone kind of agitated?
I don't understand how how 4 players can get attracted to a ball if they're all playing zonal marking. How does that work? that's not your zone. So why are 4 of you going into that zone? And have one player. We talk about it all the time. Lee Cars used to do it for fun. You should just stand in front and just header away every game. Ross Barkley started to do it last year or so, season before last. Have someone who's going to be near. Most crosses come in the Premier League, they're flat. And they're looking for the flick, or they're looking for someone to get that near post. There's very few that you see go up because they know the keepers are going to come and take them most of the time. So have someone near post. I've even if it's your biggest man, get Snidling at the front post and say, you're going to deal with everything in here. Everything. And if anything goes over your head, that's the keepers. That's the keepers. If anything goes over his head. And that should be it. That should be, a ball shouldn't be dropping in the
on the 6
yard box or penalty area kind of penalty spot, and they get a free header. And yet players have in the last 4 games, isn't it now, or 4 out of 5 games, have had tap-ins or headers from that. That shouldn't be happening. And that for me, that doesn't matter whether your manager does it all week with you. If you can't do it on a Saturday afternoon when it's expected of you, every single time. If you can't do that every single time, or nearly every single time, put a challenge in, it just, for me, it just creates those nerves around the ground that we don't need. And players are turning around.
Feel that, don't they?
Players turn around looking at each other going, and then they're like, we can't give away any throws, we can't give away set pieces. And that just leads to cheap throws being given away, cheap set pieces given away, cheap corners given, because players are just like, I play for the corner, these look nervy. And it's, but it's not, I don't think it's just a zonal thing, because you just mentioned what happened before the corner, not being able to just get rid of the ball, not being able to just clear the ball. They're like just basics.
Scruffy goals. There was one as well, isn't it?
Who scored a good goal against us apart from the free kick against Wolves? Who has scored a good goal against us this season?
I don't like speaking about them, but didn't Liverpool have this issue in the first season?
Well, they did. They did have this. A lot of teams have this issue. It's not.
On the go.
Sometimes it's not actually about the system, it's about the personnel. Who's to say Jerry Mina doesn't come into the side and then suddenly you've got a big player who just stands there, and everything that comes in you just go bing, bing.
That's what Van Dijk does for them, innit? That's all.
And again, I'm not having a go at someone here, but Jordan Pickford's size, I think, is also an influence in this.
He's not going to come for crosses.
If you've got a 6'7" goalkeeper, he's coming for everything, isn't he? Jordan's not like that. Jordan's brilliant, but he's not like that. He's not a big. He's a lad who's going to say, I'm not going to come because even if I jump and punch one of their players, that Billing who scored was a big lad, wasn't he? He might outjump me, and I'm going to do what I do. So I think that's. He hasn't got many flaws, Pickford, but I think that is one of the flaws of being a goalie who's not.
Neville was like that though.
Neville
was a goal line keeper. He wouldn't come for stuff unless.
I'm not having a go at him for it. I just think that you have to adjust your tactics and say, if anything does come over, if he's on his line, he's going to come and punch it. But you can't expect your goalkeeper, who's only just over 6 foot, to go through everyone and try and get the ball. So I think you have to work around that, and we're not. When play, there was one
before we scored, mate. They had a throw. We ended up with the Tosin shot. But they have a throw and comes in. The flap and Dominic Calvert-Lewin tries to do some mad clearance, kicks it straight to one of their players, and Holgate gets a blocking. You could see them, and you think of just everyone settle it down. But anyway,
you watch. But yet you watch, like, go and watch lower league football and just watch how any like that centre backs just deal with it. It's just like a different world. It's like a different world. It's like the higher you go up, all these basic things of defending. You watch any championship game, you'll see. We had them the other night, Rotherham. Every time their big lad was just like boom.
That's what they were working on all week, wasn't it?
But they done it at the weekend because a lot of them are lower. They coming through, they're not, But the good thing was, alright, we went behind. The good thing was, and it's the first time we've been behind this season, by the way. And within a minute, we're level. And Lucas Dean, who spoke about the left foot going past players, gets a little bit lucky. He tries to drop the shoulder, wins the tackle, but the delivery into the box is fabulous. And Cameron, a brilliant run by Calvert-Lewin, a great header.
Yeah, quality again. I think we've seen it against Rotherham as well. A ball coming in, and Calvert-Lewin gets on the end of it of an header from across from Dean. I think it's a positive. It shows that we go first time gone behind this season and we're back straight away. It shows that we're not going to have. Well, I don't want to jinx it, but it doesn't look like we're going to have an issue with coming back from conceding. It is just the case of not conceding in the first place. But I think he's going to be quality for us this season. Balls coming in like that, no matter what. Even the one against Rotherham, it was a good header by Calvert-Lewin to knock it down, but any striker of any class knows how to head that ball down and it goes in. I think he's putting balls on the plates for strikers, and that'll only benefit Tosin as well when balls keep coming in, because he's not scared to put his head anywhere. As soon as a ball comes in, he'll throw his head. So I think that's what you need. You need a left back, a full back that once is up the other end. We said it about Coleman off camera. His crossing has been poor this season so far in the 4 games. If you've got a full back that can put a ball directly onto the penalty area or like that, he's putting these balls directly onto players' heads. He knows where Calvert-Lewin's going to be, and he plonked it on his head, and that shows his qualities, and you can't half tell that lad's come from Barcelona.
He's so calm on the ball. He's so calm on the ball. He's a different kind of fullback to some of the modern day, like you know, you look at like them now, the way they get the ball and they're just running up the line. He's a little bit different. It's all touch. It's all touch with him, and I think that's why he's going to rely on someone just being in and around him. Oh, like the Bina.
The thing is about him, no, he's 25, he's experienced, he's been at all the big clubs in Europe, you know what I mean? He's a brilliant left back, you know. He's going to be really good for us.
Yeah, he looks like he knows, he's come in and obviously looked like he's played for a while. At the weekend, you know, you see against Rotherham, you go, he was brilliant against Rotherham, but it's Rotherham, you know what? And then at the weekend, he was brilliant.
It's the same, wasn't he?
Absolutely the same. Like you said, they're calm on the ball.
It was a good ball. It was a good header. So my big goalkeepers, the goalie should have saved it.
Yeah.
It's a
the thing is though, he couldn't get 2 hands on it because the way, but Tosin was there, so I think we scored anyway.
Pickford would save that because of his size, ironically enough.
Probably,
because he's a big lad, he just couldn't get it. But it was important that we scored straight away. Because if it got, you know, you can imagine, we've seen it before, like Burnley last season and West Brom a couple of years ago. The longer it goes on and the more they dig in and the more the crowd are getting a little bit agitated. It was important to went in straight away.
It was like the West Brom game last January.
No.
It was similar to that game where they come with a plan, a limited plan, but a plan that they exploited, and we just kind of
we allowed it to work, didn't we?
Bits of that game reminded me what it was like last season, and I just went, nah, you know what? Give me what we've got, and with other players to come in.
Someone saying it weren't Allardyce, it's the players. People said.
Well, some of it is
not though, is it? But that's nonsense, though, isn't it? Because that's like saying the Huddersfield team, if they came out and set themselves up like that, they didn't. The manager sets them up like we've seen that already this season. We've seen the same set of players. As we had last season, and we've seen completely different football. And that's what the manager does. The manager tells you all week to go and play in a certain way. So I've seen that myself. I've seen people saying, what's the difference with Allardyce? Well, the difference is that if you're playing a more attractive game of football, you will hopefully win more games of football. Time will tell, but I guarantee with Allardyce, the best he would ever have got us was 7th. Whereas this guy, why he's been brought in, is to break through that and try and get us above that. And that's all you can hope for. But I guarantee Allardyce wouldn't have took us anywhere else. In some
respects, it is the same set of players, so you will, in some games, it's a brick wall.
Of course.
You know what I mean? As good as Marco Silva's got them, at the weekend, there was too many different things that come together, so it was disjointed, because a lot of those players haven't been playing and won't play together all the time, and that's why. And so you have to.
I will say one other thing. For me, it's not Silva's team yet either.
No,
it's not. Still somebody else. Well, it's about 4 different.
It's the Frankenstein.
It's the Frankenstein. It's still not his team, and until he gets all his players back fit, then we'll know what his team is. Then we'll know.
He can't be judged yet, really.
No, he shouldn't be judged for about it.
Give him another year or so at least before you should judge him really, I suppose.
Of course,
really, because that's how long it's going to take to move some of these players out even further and to keep going up the rung of the ladder. But you'd have a look and you go, who's he bought in so far? Bernard, is he better than what we've got? Well, we all say he probably is. Is Mina? Time will tell, but he looks like he may be. Zouma, certainly, you know, great to have a centre back with a bit of pace for a change running back. You know, Richarlison, well, he's the same age as Lookman, which one would you rather have at the moment? So everyone he's brought in, when you look at it like that, Andre Gomez, like Cameron said, was excellent at Valencia and was okay, you know, not as bad as people make out of Barcelona. So you'd look and go, they're better than what we had. You know, David Undrick called João Virginia the best goalkeeping performance he's seen at that level.
Exactly.
The other week, another keeper. So things are moving. It's about the patience with all of us. We all want it now. We all want to win every game. We all want to see 5-0 home wins every time we play. But we have to just
I think we need to sit back and remember that he's turning the ship here. He's really turning the ship, and it's not just obviously it's the same set of players majorly, but it's the mentality, it's the style of football, it's having the players think attack and not come back, or let's just keep a back five and not concede, rather than let's score, focus on scoring and not conceding. And that's a massive turnaround that Marco Silva has to implant into Everton. It's not going to take 4 games.
It's also, it's a good point, but it's also seeing whether those players that he's got are good enough. Are they good enough? And the only way that'll happen is a season. Is actually looking at it and addressing it. I heard people again. You're listening to people going, "We need another striker, or we need this, and we need that." Well, we haven't got them. No, you just get on with what you've got, and then when you come to the next, or do we need another striker? Do we need? Well, we need the best striker in the world, really, don't we? That's what you need. That's what everyone needs. You don't just sit there and go, well, he's all right, I'll keep him for years. You go, how can we be better? But the only way you see how we're going to be better is actually playing games and seeing if players are responding to the way the manager wants them to play. Some players you'll go, he fits perfectly into this system, and then you play and you go, actually, he doesn't fit at all. When Moyes came and we had Marcus Bent up front, and everyone was like, fucking Marcus Bent, he fitted the system perfectly for that time. And then when it was time to move him on, we brought someone in who didn't actually fit the system, who was a better player but didn't fit the system, and then we had to go and get the next one who did fit the system. And it's just, you've just got to sometimes just,
and they're working towards January now, so they'll be looking and going, who can we get in January who's better than him? They might get to January and go, right, Nias, Galatasaray want you because we want him over there because he'll fit it better. Then next summer they're planning and you move again. That's what it is. It's not, I keep saying, this isn't the end point. This is just the start. So
we should all be excited.
Leave it and go, alright, that was annoying, it was horrible, it's consigned to the Albion 101. Let's get on now. We got West Ham in 2 weeks and we move forward. That's it. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. Can you understand the frustration? Were you a booer? If you were, what were you booing? Referee, or who were you booing? Is Tom Davis good enough? Is he crap? Whatever. Don't forget, thanks for watching. Big thanks to Cameron, big thanks to Joe. Don't forget to subscribe, only takes a second. If you want more videos, join us on Patreon. We're all going to have a cup of tea and talk about how much we love Tom Davis. See you later.